Oh, hey there. For those of you who don't know me, I am Shana Francesca. I am the founder of Consonate. And for those of you who do know me, oh, hey. So I wanted to take this moment, and we as a company are taking more time to share what we're doing with one another internally, to live our lives more intentionally, and then to share it with you. And one of the things that I do to live my principles, and I don't love the word principles, but to live that which I feel is connected to living a holistic, healthy life that is beneficial for others and the planet, to understand my impact on this earth, to understand how powerful I am in helping change move forward, is mending. I know, it sounds really crazy, but to think of mending as something that's really important. However, oftentimes when we donate clothing, a huge percentage of it actually still ends up in the trash. And it's not just here. It doesn't end up here in the trash. It is typically shipped overseas and then it is burned in giant piles. And many of the fibers that our clothing is made from are not biodegradable. They are man-made or synthetic. And when burned, it releases toxins. And so an incredible way that we can help to limit our impact on this earth is understanding that if we take a few minutes to mend or pay someone to mend for us, we can have a huge impact on really just limiting how many resources we're consuming. So I have this pair of gloves, and I just happen to have things that need mending. Feel like pretty much always. And sometimes I will pay someone else to do it. But in this case, these are like a $10 pair of gloves that I bought at a store quickly in Philadelphia when I was with my friend Lauren last year. We were walking and I realized I hadn't brought any gloves, and it was much colder than I thought it was. And so I bought this pair of gloves. And I'm searching through, this is my little sewing kit. They ended up getting a hole in the finger of one of the glove pretty quickly. And I typically use these gloves for like shoveling or when you need something a little bit like warmer, but I'm not necessarily worried about being chic. I have my beautiful leather gloves for that, which I will not mend myself. I keep a small sewing kit. I think I originally purchased this on Amazon. I think it was like $15. And I think came with the scissors. I purchased the patches separately. And then like when I'm at events, sometimes people will have giveaways and I'll keep said giveaways. Or I might be at a hotel room or something and they'll have like little sewing kits. And so I just like add them here because I don't love having to go to like a fabric store just to buy thread or needing to buy giant spools of thread. So I love to keep small amounts of thread around. I can really sew, but I don't really spend that much time doing it. There was one time in my life where I sewed a dress for myself and it was actually quite attractive. But by the time I was done making it, I didn't want to wear it anymore because I was just so done with it. And then I realized sewing wasn't my jam in that capacity, but that mending could be my jam. And mending can be doing things like putting on a button or sewing a button back on, or a little patch work, or in this case, a bizarre finger situation, which I am not entirely certain how I'm going to repair this. So we're gonna do this together. It's gonna be an adventure. I happen to have some darker thread. Normally when I mend things, I turn them inside out. But if I turn this inside out, I'm not entirely sure that it's going to help me because this is a lined pair of gloves. And in fact, the lining will block me from being able to do anything on the inside. So here we go. The point of this video is not to show you how to mend, more to talk with you about mending, because you can go to your local, typically, you can go to your local dry cleaner. I do not take many clothes to a dry cleaner. I typically will hand wash or wash on delicate things that are marked for dry clean only. Anyway, the point is, in fact, that you can take it to a dry cleaner, things that need to be mended or repaired, or perhaps you have a friend who can sew. And it makes it really, I'm threading a needle, so I'm like really focused. In fact, and I don't use a needle threader at this point, my vision is still good enough that it's still quite good actually, that I can thread my own needle without a needle threader. But if you need a needle threader, no shame, absolutely none. There are times when you need one, no matter what, especially for thicker thread. Words escape me at moments. Anyway, I always try to put a double knot. I don't always successfully put one knot over the other, but I always try to put a double knot on the back end of my thread because, you know, makes it easier not to pull it right on through. My point is this: when we take a moment and we honor that which we have, and we give it a second life, or perhaps we mend it and then we donate it, but we can really give a lot of things a second life, give them another purpose in our life. Sometimes purposes change, just like ours. You know, as we go through life, as we learn more, as we grow, our purpose changes. Because who we are changes. How we understand the world changes. So how could our purpose not change? I'm just doing a little, like, I don't know, I'm calling it a loop stitch, but hello, not a seamstress, so those of you who know better, know better. And those of you who don't, let's call it a loop stitch. So our purpose, it changes. And so maybe a piece of clothing's purpose changes. Maybe what was a t-shirt can then be turned into something that we wear comfortably around the house for cleaning. Or perhaps we break it up and we turn it into rags that we clean the house with. There's a whole variety of things that we can do. Sometimes I might put them down on the ground when removing a piece of furniture. If I run out of furniture slides, I can fold up an old towel or something, and I can put that under the corners of the piece of furniture, and we can slide it on that or set it down on that. We do wipe things down when we're done working on client projects, when we're setting things up. We will wipe things down, especially glass things. We don't like to leave our fingerprints behind it. It's their home. I don't want to remind them that we were there. I want to remind them that they belong there, that it's their home. And so we don't minimize ourselves, but we try to minimize our footprint at a client's home. And so I'm just going to trim this up. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to think about ways in your life that you can use the sawdust, that you can reuse things that you think have no more use anymore, but somebody might have a use for, and give yourself some time to figure it out. What you can do is create a donation bin in your house, or I'm not sure what these are going to be used as bin, just some old laundry baskets, or where you can kind of see what's in there or remember what's in there. Or perhaps it's just a clear plastic bin where you can put some things in there and you can go through it once every couple of months, and you can say, okay, am I going to donate this thing? And is this actually garbage? Can I repair this thing? Can I give it another purpose? What am I doing with this thing? And let's think of more ways that we can use things. And then also use that as a moment to check in and ask ourselves, are we buying a lot of things that we don't have long-term use for? You know, if a lot of things end up in there, or the quality of the things isn't great, and we're finding the need to mend a lot of something or throw something out and replace it very often, let's pay attention to that. Let's pay attention to how much we're consuming, how we're using things, and what's the benefit, the pros, the cons. We need to be mindful of the resources we have. Our money, our time, all of these things go into what we purchase, our money and our time. And our time we can't get back. It is our most precious resource. And so we want to make sure that we are spending it wisely. So if spending time mending a glove isn't high on your list, and by the way, this is not a gorgeous mend, but these are shoveling gloves, so I don't really care what they look like. So a blunted fingertip is going to be just fine with me. I think that we can default back to our programming that tells us, oh, just throw it out and get another one. That's all marketing. That didn't used to be the way that things were. People didn't just throw things out and buy another one. They mended them. They cared for them long term. They got sofas reupholstered. These are all things that we're going to be diving in, is reupholstering, professionally cleaning, mending, caring for leather. All of these things are things that we want to help our clients do. So we definitely speak with our clients about it, but we want to speak with you about it too, so that you can do these things in your home to understand, how can I care for the things I have better? And then how can I give them a longer life?